Hey mathematicians, welcome to part 3. For part 3, you are going to be looking at line plots. Now, line plots are, and I'll show you here in just a second, line plots are another way to show data. So we looked at bar graphs, and line plots are usually something that we can, we're dealing with numbers typically. So, for example, here's an example of something that we would use a line graph or a line plot for. Mr. Bradley, his class took a science test, and they all studied hard, and everyone in the class scored an 88% or higher. And this line plot shows the score distribution. So each of these are scores. So this is showing the scores that the students received. So if I look here at 100%, I see that there are no X's. So that means that 0 students scored 100%. If I look at 99, 0 students scored 99%. If I look at 88 or 98, there are 2 X's. So those X's are people's scores. So how many students scored 98%? Well, we have 2 marks there, so that means 2 people scored a 98%. And you can tell a lot of things from line plots like this. You can see which score had the most. So like if I'm looking here, I can see, okay, there are more X's in here than there are here. So more people scored an 89%. And so you can tell a lot of different information based on these. So my question here is, how many students received a score of 94%? So I'm going to look along the bottom where it says score. Excuse me. And it says 94%, and above it I have 2 X's. So that means 2 people scored 94%. So 2 students scored a 94%. And you're going to go through and look at these other things, and you're going to type your answer over here on the other side. So what was the highest score in the class? So doesn't mean how many people had the most with that score. Which score was the highest? So which score here was the highest score that someone scored? And once you do that, then you're going to go down to the last part. So what you're going to do is you're going to make your own line plot here. So here's here's some data. This is Miss Smith. Her music class took a test or a quiz. And here are their scores. So we've got a 6, a 6, a 5, a 4, a 6, a 4, a 5, and so on. So what you're going to do is you're going to label these things down here. So maybe this is 0, and then this one is 1 and 2. So you're going to have to label these so that you can do that, because you're then, one, you want to put them in order. You always put them from least to greatest, starting before your lowest score or at your lowest score. So we're going to go in like a number line, and then you're going to put an X on your number line for each of these scores. So you can go in order, and I have these little check marks here, these dashes, so that you can mark them off once you've done it. So like, for example, if my first one is 6, I'm going to put a mark at where I think 6 should be. So I'm going to put an X there. Then, so that I don't count it twice, I'm going to cross it off. Okay. So then you're going to keep going until you have crossed off all of these and put X's for each one of these scores. And then you are going to successfully have created a line plot of this data. And we're not going to answer any questions about it because you've kind of already interpreted a line plot, but I just want you to get some practice making your own. All right. So you're going to try that afterwards, after you've answered the questions about the quiz, the science quiz. All right. You guys are awesome.